So Josh Drew put together a list of what he perceives to be the most famous alums of my school, of Northwestern University, and of your school, the University of Notre Dame. And he left out some obvious names on yours. For example, he put together a list of the most famous alumni of Notre Dame football. Yeah. And he put Jeff Samardzija and Justin Tuck on it, but not Joe Montana.
I mean, how old are you?
No, Josh Drew.
I mean, are you serious?
No, it's idiotic. And by the way,
it's unbelievable.
Can I say something else about him? We flew out here together yesterday, and I learned something. Josh Drew is afraid to fly. So, and not that there's anything to make fun of. Lots of people are a little bit afraid of flying. My wife is a little nervous flyer, so I'm not making fun of it. But we're sitting next to each other on the plane. So we have 2 flights to get here. One was like a nice big jet that we flew from Hartford to Detroit.
Right. Yes.
We had a little lunch together in Detroit, a lovely little turkey sandwich. And then we get on a plane the size of like a Volkswagen that flies us from Detroit to here in a snowstorm. So, I mean, even I'm thinking, well, I've had more enjoyable flying experiences than this. Josh Drew, he almost held me. He was so nervous, and I said to him, Josh, are you nervous? And he said, no, only the takeoff and the landing.
Only the takeoff and the landing?
And he says, yeah, I start to sweat. And I said, you start to sweat at the takeoff. You realize the takeoff and the landing is part of the flying.
It's part of the whole flying experience.
So he is a nervous flyer, which I would not have guessed about him.
I would not either.
But I found it interesting.
I would guess he would be. I was stunned. He'd be dumb enough to leave off Joe Montana off a list of Notre Dame notables. Yeah. Are you serious? And he lists one of the 7 Heisman Trophy winners.
Yeah. Which one?
He mentioned Tim Brown because that's his age. That's someone he recognized.
There are quite a few others, obviously.
God.
Now I've got a list. By the way, Charlie Weiss he does have on there because he's also an alum. I've got a list. Now we don't have any football players on my list. No, but that's okay. I've got a pretty good list. So here is. I've just isolated. The list is much longer than this, but I've isolated what I think is a pretty good and diverse group of alumni from Northwestern University, spanning the different areas of human endeavor. Okay? So the first one is one that I'm going to play as a trump card, because when your wife gets here, and she is a proud Notre Dame St. Mary's person, even she, I think, is going to have a hard time fighting Zoe Deschanel. Yeah. We've got Zoe Deschanel. She is new girl, and your wife loves her.
I love the show. I love it. Absolutely right. Big fan.
We have Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I said it before, I'll say it again. I married my wife because she reminded me of Elaine. So, I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, outstanding. Next, Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers is a good one.
Is dominating late-night television.
Yeah, I know.
Second, perhaps only to Stephen Colbert.
Yeah,
we got him too.
Yeah, you do.
So I've got Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers. I've got David Schwimmer, who was one of the stars of one of the biggest sitcoms of all time in Friends. Now you want to go into some different areas? I've got Hugh Hefner.
You do.
Who was the founder of Playboy. I've got, and obviously an extraordinarily rich, and a lot of people don't like what he did, but he was certainly a significant person.
Right.
I've got Jerry Reinsdorf, one of the most significant figures in sports and in business. And just to round it off, and you can qualify him any way you want, I got Jerry Springer.
Oh, jeez.
Who was, well,
you're gonna take that?
He was the mayor of Cincinnati.
Okay.
And he is the host of a very popular television show.
Here's the thing. If I were to say you could have this guy, I would give him to you.
Okay. Fair enough.
You can have him.
I'll take him.
All right.
And that's by no means my entire list, but that is just a sampling of my list.
Now, obviously, we know our sports list here. You go outside of that. How about Condoleezza Rice?
She's good. Condoleezza Rice is good. Yeah, she's good. She's good. Well, I mean, how excited do you want me to get? She was the Secretary of Defense. That's good.
Right there, I've listed a person that's better than anybody that you've listed on your entire list.
How are you defining better?
Well, okay, I'll go to your, I know your entertainment thing, and now while this guy is a little bit past, but his career, compared to any of the careers you just mentioned, Regis Philbin.
Regis is big. I love Regis.
Regis Philbin.
I'm not knocking Regis. I love Regis.
And the man, one of the great sitcoms of all time, when he walks in that bar, they all yell out his name, Norm.
George Wendt. George Wendt went to Notre Dame. I didn't know that. He's good.
And one of the best and most controversial movies made, The Passion of the Christ. Yes. Yeah.
Perhaps you've heard of him.
Jim Caviezel.
Oh, he was Jesus in that movie.
He was Jesus in that movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we aren't as deep in the. Yeah, but you know another great one. You've seen one of the great movies, Notebook. But he's a writer, Nicholas Sparks.
Oh, Nick Sparks is huge.
Absolutely
He's
right.
a Hollywood powerhouse too.
Yes,
he's written a ton of books besides that.
We won't even get into the sports side of it because there's really you don't have an answer there.
Well, we have Otto Graham.
That's
Otto Graham is good.
It's a good one.
Otto
Yes,
Graham is on the list of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
That is good.
But no, look, Northwestern obviously doesn't have anywhere near, in the two major sports that we think of, the basketball and the football, we don't have anywhere near the history. We actually have a lot of great players from other sports, including Joe Girardi and some others. But you're in sports, I'm not trying to fight you. I don't have that fight.
You got a nice list.
I got a good list.
You got a list of people right now that are hot and that are big and that are good. I'm with you.
A lot of yours tend to be... you know, not unlike yourself, on the washed-up side.
We do have Hannah Storm as well. Hannah?
You got Hannah.
Hannah was a couple years ahead of me.
I got Michael Wilbon.
You have Michael Wilbon.
So you got Hannah, I got Wilbon. All right, we're doing okay.
Our colleagues.